Hey guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Nneka John. In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys an easy method of cutting an off-shoulder princess dart bustier. So if you haven't subscribed, you can do so right now. And if you have subscribed, thank you so much. So we'll start by cutting out the quantity of material we'll be needing for both the front and the back. And to do that, we'll divide your bust measurement by 4, then add extra 4 inches allowance to that. So that's 4 inches. 2 inches will be for the dart in front and 2 inches will be for the stitching allowance. So to know the length of material you'll be needing, remove 5 inches from the top of your material for the off shoulder. Then you measure your half length and add your 1 inch seam allowance. And then you can go ahead and cut through the white lines. So this one right here now is for the front piece. So we use this front piece and place on another piece of material to cut out the back piece. And as you know, this back piece will also have 4 inches allowance. We'll take out 2 inches for the zipper allowance and 2 inches as the seam allowance. So guys, you can go ahead and separate the front piece from the back piece because we'll work on the front piece first. So to start, we'll have to use our tape and remove 5 inches from the top of your material. This will serve as the off shoulder. So place your tape as I'm doing. So count down to your bust point. My bust point is 10 inches. So I also went down to my under bust, which is 13 inches, and my half length, that's my waistline, which is 16 inches. And I also added 1 inch as the seam allowance. So I went ahead to use my ruler to extend the lines across. So from the edge of the material, this our front piece is on fold. So for the neckline, that's the neck width. I went in by 4.5. You can go ahead and do your own as 5 inches. Then for the neck depth, while placing away my tape, I went down by 7 inches. Like I removed that 5 inches for the off shoulder. Then I went ahead to make something like a sweetheart curve. You can do your own as round neck if that's what you want. So for my shoulder, so guys, I'm working with 8 inches for my shoulder. To get your shoulder measurement, you can divide your round bust measurement by 4 and add 1.5 inches to that. So this new line here is now my chest line. And remember, I also removed that 5 inches for the off shoulder. So guys, on this new chest line, come in by 3 inches. Just make a mark there, then connect in a straight line your neck width and this your chest line. So this right here is now our armhole. Then to work on your darts, you divide your nipple to nipple measurement or your bust palm measurement by 2. So on the bust point, I'm marking 4 inches because my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 is 3.5. Then I added half inch on the bust point. Then on the under bust point, I marked 3.5. Then on the half length, I also marked 3.5. I removed half an inch from the under bust and the half length. Then I use my free hand to connect all the dots together. Now on the armhole line, go in by 2.5 inches and connect it to your bust point as well. So we'll now place the darts. I'm working with 2 inches darts. If you're on a bigger size, you can use 2.5, and if you're on a smaller size, you can use 1.5. So I marked it on my under bust and on my half length. Then I also went ahead to connect in a straight line. Then on the bust point, make something like a cup. Just curve it like I'm doing. So on this armhole line, just remove half inch from whatever dart you took. If you took 2 inches, you can just mark 1.5 at this armhole line. Although right here, I'm just making use of 1 inch. So I'm also connecting it to the bust points in a curve. So now we are done with the darts. We'll now start placing all the round measurements. So first of all, divide your round bust measurement by 4. We'll place that on the chest line. Divide your round bust measurement by 4. When you get that, you add extra 3 inches allowance. This 3 inches allowance, 1 inch will replace the darts we took away from the shoulder line. Then after that, divide your under bust measurement by 4. After dividing it by 4, you place it on the material. And remember to replace your 2 inches for the dart you took away on the under bust, and also add 2 inches for the seam allowance. So do the same on your waistline. Divide your round waist measurement by 4. Replace your 2 inches for the dart and also add 2 inches for your seam allowance. Now use your free hand to connect all the dots you've marked. And then right now we are done with the front piece. So we'll start cutting through all the important lines. So guys, after cutting the front piece, this is what you're going to have. This is what your own should look like. So now let's work on the back piece. As you can see, we have 2 pieces of material as well. So we are removing 2 inches for the zipper allowance. So you can go ahead, take away 5 inches for your off shoulder. Go ahead and mark your bust point at 10 inches, the under bust at 13 inches, and as well as your half length plus 1 inch seam allowance. So I also just marked my armhole line, which is also my chest line. So I'm trying to extend the line right here. So remember to use your client's measurements or your measurements. I'm basically using my measurements here. So we are going to mark our neck width. All your measurements now should start from the zipper allowance line, not at the edge. So I also marked my neck width at 4.5 inches and neck depth at 6 inches. So I'm making a round neck for the back. Unlike the front piece that I used sweetheart neckline. I'm using a round neck here for the back piece. So on the chest line, also come in by 3 inches and connect it in a straight line or in a slant line to the neck. So this right here is also our armhole. So we are basically repeating the same thing we did at the front part. So I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement. On the bust point, I marked 4 inches. On the under bust, 3.5 inches. And on the waistline, 3.5 inches. So I also use my free hand to connect all the dots. So on this shoulder line, also go in by 2.5 inches. And from there, connect it to the bust point as well. So after that, we are going to start placing all our round body measurements. On the chest line, divide your round bust measurement by 4 and add your 2 inches for your seam allowance. So on the under bust, divide your round under bust measurement by 4 and add 2 inches for your seam allowance. On the waistline, divide your waist measurement by 4 and also add 2 inches for your seam allowance. So after that, just connect all the dots in a curve. Since your body is not straight, when you're done with placing all the back body measurement, just slit your zipper allowance. Please remember to extend your neck towards the zip side. So we're going to start cutting through the important white lines. So this is how the back piece looks like. So this is basically how the back piece and the front piece looks like. So right here we have our off-shoulder princess that bustier. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.